Okay. 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 Well, as everybody starts coming in, I will introduce. This is Take a Virtual Vacation. And this week, our virtual vacation is taking us down south to Nolens. And for those of you who don't know better, New Orleans. So what is Take a Virtual Vacation? It is a partnership between 4 travel agents and 4 different travel agencies. That is Maria Stephanopoulos.
Hello.
With Ingenious Travel down in Tampa Bay. Myself, Susan Schaefer. I own Ships and Trips Travel in Middle Tennessee. Then we also have Barbara Oliver, who owns All Together Now Travel in Southern California, and Gail Sherman, who is also in Southern California with Wine Lovers Travel. And you can find Take a Virtual Vacation on Facebook. We have a Facebook group called Take a Virtual Vacation, so we're really easy to find. And then Maria has now got a meetup group called Eat, Drink, Travel, Greater Tampa Bay. I have Eat, Drink, Travel, Middle Tennessee, and then we'll have more meetup groups coming to California and other areas very soon. But with that, I'm going to hand this over to Tu with New Orleans and Company, and she is going to take us on vacation to New Orleans.
Hey everyone, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm thrilled to be here and present Destination New Orleans. I hope you guys are all healthy, safe, and sane. Huge thanks to the team at Ships and Trips Travel for this opportunity. We truly appreciate the partnership. So a little history. Sorry. A little history on New Orleans. So New Orleans was founded by the French in 1718. Then the Spanish took control. Then the French took control back before Napoleon sold it to the US 3 years later as part of the Louisiana Purchase. So although the French sold Louisiana, their residents stayed and they held on tight to their language and customs, which began the future generation of Creoles, meaning American offspring of the French settlers. Then came the Acadians, the Africans, the Haitians, the Sicilians, and many of those after. And just like the French, they held on to their way of life when settling in New Orleans. And that is what makes New Orleans a city that is full of culture and fascinating traditions. Today, these influences are prominent all over the city, in our hotels, our architecture, our restaurants, the music, entire neighborhoods, the people who live here. A few of our recent awards, we were Best Food City by Southern Living. We won 25 places to visit by Forbes, and also #1 destination in New York Times for 52 places to go. That was a really good one. We have a brand new airport opened last fall. This new build completely replaced the previous facility. The New Orleans influence, it definitely resonates here. You'll find music, live music, local shops, local restaurants here at this new airport. There's even a Café du Monde for that final beignet to take some home. New Orleans will have a Four Seasons early next year. This building was formerly our World Trade Center. The hotel and residences will feature 340 guest rooms, 90 condos, a spa, a 2-story attraction level, and a rooftop observation deck, offering 360-degree views of the city. Only in New Orleans, museum celebrating a cocktail is a brand new Sazerac House interactive museum for this New Orleans original and America's first cocktail, the Sazerac. The Sazerac, if you don't know, is made of whiskey, sugar, lemon peel, herb saint, iconic Peychaud bitters, which is New Orleans original. It's simple, delicious, yet a very potent drink, so be careful. The museum itself is gorgeous. It has 3 levels of interactive exhibits, tasting stations, in-house distillery. It also has a unique gift shop there. You can purchase all that is needed to make a Sazerac, or they also carry a collection of spirits and from around the world. Admission to this museum is free, and that just includes the tastings. Okay, so in New Orleans, there's so many options of what to see and do. So just think of it this way: divide how much time you have by what your interests are. Whether you're looking for history, culinary, music. In the next few slides, I'll group these experiences based on these categories. It's also a really good itinerary to follow. I highly recommend leaving time out to just explore. Walk through the French Quarter, stop in the bars, restaurants, shops, or you might run into a pop-up performance. I think that's the best memory, is to bring something back that you found on your own while out exploring. Here are some options if you're interested in history. A carriage ride is a great way to learn about French Quarter history. They offer 30-minute tours, or you can opt for an hour tour that includes a stop and tour of St. Louis Cemetery No. 1. So that is where the famous voodoo queen, Marie Laveau, rests. And there's also actually a tomb for Nicolas Cage as well. He just has one there waiting for him. It's this huge pyramid. You won't miss it. It's something to see. Or on the opposite sides of the St. Louis Cathedral are 2 Louisiana State Museums. These are just beautiful facilities, and they do a really great job highlighting Louisiana history. We have a museum, a Southern Food and Beverage Museum. That is a great option for those wanting to learn about Southern food culture. They also offer cooking classes and demonstrations. And our Historic New Orleans collection focuses on French Quarter history. They have these brand new educational galleries that are definitely worth a visit. Gosh, the food. Po' boys, jambalaya, muffalata, oysters. The food scene is just something, holds its own here. We have actual food itineraries just around food. And I'll share some options here on if you wanted to just enjoy and eat your heart out. A great way to try a sample of New Orleans dishes is our festivals. Our festivals, usually local restaurants and caterers are always participating, and they serve their best 1 or 2 dishes. And it's a great way just to get a sampling of what the city has to offer in terms of food. Or something that I do very regularly, because I love our food here too, and I can't just choose one, I'll plan a progressive dining experience. You can go through a local tour operator. They have culinary tours or cocktail tours, or if you do your research and there's several restaurants that you want to try, do go progressive. Make reservations, map it out. One of my favorite nights out, I'll start off with a cocktail at the Omni Royal in the French Quarter. They have this beautiful rooftop bar overlooking the French Quarter. Then I'll probably go get gumbo at maybe Mr. B's, one of my favorite places. Then I'll do an entree either at Irene's, which is a fabulous French restaurant in the French Quarter, or another one is in the Roosevelt Hotel. They have this beautiful restaurant by Chef John Tremonta and John Fulse. And then for dessert, I always go for the double chocolate bread pudding at Redfish Grill. It's delicious. Okay, and next, after you ate all that food, you gotta go dancing. We have one of the best music scenes here in the city. We have anything from low-lit jazz bars to booming nightclubs, any kind of genre of music, we have it all. You can dance on this balcony overlooking Bourbon Street, you can go sing karaoke, or you can just take in a nightcap at a jazz bar if that's your thing. And then in the French Quarter, you might stumble upon a second line. It is a New Orleans tradition when there is something celebrating. So it's usually weddings or family groups or even corporate incentive groups. It starts with the first line, which is the jazz band or the brass band and the guest or guest of honor. And the second line is everyone else, including you. So you're walking through the French Quarter and you see this going on. It is tradition. It is okay for you to hop in and join the group and go dancing in the street. It's really the best. I wanted to also highlight some outdoor recreational activities. We have so many of those options. We have a beautiful sculpture garden at our New Orleans Museum, New Orleans City Park. This art garden holds more than 80 works of long footpaths, lagoons, live oak trees in City Park. There are actually live oak trees up to 800 years old there in City Park. They are photographed quite often, and so it's a really great opportunity to go out and enjoy the park and then see these beautiful live oaks. Or if you want to get to know Louisiana's wetlands, we have some national state parks. One is the Jean Lafitte National Historical Park. These parks offer boardwalks and trails. There you can spot alligators, wildflowers, plants. They offer self-guided tours that you can listen to on your cell phone, or they have a really great junior ranger program if you're bringing the kids. And then speaking of kids, I wanted to highlight some family-friendly attractions. Our Audubon Nature Institute operates our zoo, or aquarium, or insectarium. Our Nature Institute, where kids learn about Louisiana's unique ecosystem. For the brave little ones, we have a really cool insectarium, and it's a museum dedicated to insects. It's especially little insects you'll find here in the South and nowhere else. So it's quite interesting. Kids love it. They have bug chefs that incorporate bugs into certain dishes, and they let the kids try it. It's you'll laugh a lot there. And then another way to enjoy our city is one of our, I mentioned before, is our festivals. We have 130 festivals a year. So at any given time that you're coming into the city, check our website and to see what's going on. So more than likely there's gonna be a festival. And I just personally think that is the best way to enjoy New Orleans. There's, our local music, food, the people. It's just a wonderful time and a great, great opportunity just to be in the midst of it all. I highlighted some options earlier, but I wanted to also showcase some of the free things that you can do in New Orleans. You're coming on a budget or just to, venture out, consider some of these free things. You're here on a Sunday morning, St. Augustine, which is the oldest African-American Catholic church in New Orleans. They have an award-winning gospel choir, and they welcome anyone who wants to come and listen on to service and enjoy those beautiful performances. His work New Orleans collection I mentioned earlier, that is free admission. The Sazerac Museum, that's free admission. And then our visitor center, we have these really amazing guides that you can take a self-guided tour of the French Quarter. It's a really awesome brochure. It's free. You can pick it up at a local hotel or our visitor centers throughout the French Quarter. It highlights about 30 to 35 locations, in the French Quarter, and then it shows you where exactly it is, and it gives you kind of like a brief overview on the historical significance of that location. And then I wanted to highlight some cruise options. We really have a good, robust cruise offering from New Orleans. The Ocean River cruises, Carnival sails year-round from here. So does Royal Caribbean. Norwegian sails from New Orleans, but they sail seasonally. So they sail November through April. And then Disney, which is one that we got about 2 years ago, they offer a seasonal sailing from New Orleans. They have about 6 to 8 sailings from the city so far, but we're going to get more. So we just started about 2 years ago, and we're super excited to have it. And it's been doing really well. It's sold out both years. We also are very busy with Mississippi River cruise lines. Our friends at American Queen, they have 3 vessels that sail from New Orleans weekly. So does American Cruise Lines. And we just got the recent announcement that Viking will cruise for the first time in the United States from New Orleans. And so those sailings will start August of 2020. You have time, I want to highlight some options and experiences that are outside of New Orleans. You know, if you're driving, map it out, because you can probably hit these on your way in or on your way home. A plantation is a great option.
You're not sharing your screen anymore, too.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. I think I hit something. Let's see. All right. You see me now?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, sorry. I don't know, I think I hit something when I was going to the next slide. So as I was saying, if you have time, a plantation is a great experience right outside of the city, about 30 to 45 minutes. You know, we have these beautiful plantations and estates along the Mississippi River, and each has a really compelling story of the families that settled and have lived there. And don't ask me to choose, because they're all just beautiful and they all have amazing stories. So just try to pick one you like. Or a fun way is to experience our ecosystem is through one of the swamp tours. My favorite part about the swamp tour, I know alligators are cool too, but it's really the captains that give tours, because these guys have lived their whole lives, you know, on these swamps, and they just have the most amazing stories to share and tell. And then that's just what makes the city really a great place to visit, is the people you're going to meet. You're going to meet so many people. You're going to get so many recommendations. You're going to feel like you're, you know, at a really good first home here in the city. I love visitors, and we love tours, and we love sharing, you know, our recommendations and where to go, what to see, what restaurants to try. So like I mentioned before, plan out your days, but carve some time out, because I guarantee you, you're going to come to the city and then you're going to want to explore, and then you're going to find something really amazing on your own, because there's so many of those opportunities. I'm so happy to be here. I hope I've inspired you to visit New Orleans. For more information, go to new.com. There's a lot of information on there. There's a lot of updates in the city, and we update constantly. So if you're wanting information on New Orleans, to neworleans.com. Thank you.
Okay, so we've got some questions. Maria, do you have any on your end?
I do have a couple. Somebody had asked, with the Four Seasons Hotel that you mentioned up on the observation deck, is there a restaurant there as well?
Yes, there will be a restaurant. I don't know what the restaurant name is yet. I don't think they've released that yet, but there's going to be a beautiful restaurant there. A few, actually.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, another question I have for the festivals. How far in advance should you book your hotel or your lodging?
So we have a lot of major festivals that you should book your lodging way in advance. For instance, our French Quarter Festival, Jazz Festival, those are going to be the bigger festivals and the more popular ones. But smaller ones, for instance, there's quite a few in the summer. You don't really need to book lodging because summer is generally a slow time for us. New Orleans is busy in the spring and the fall. So if you're planning to visit during those times, book your accommodations early. Summer and the month of December are usually slower, so you won't have to book that far out if you're coming during those months.
Okay. The progressive dining that you showed in the different restaurants you're mentioning, did you have to make a reservation for each of those restaurants, or were you able to just walk in?
No, I made reservations. I always make reservations, especially at New Orleans restaurants. It's so easy. Most of them use Open Table or Resi. So, and a trick around it, if you're doing a progressive dining experience, Open Table doesn't let you make reservations within a 2-hour window. So I just get one of my friends that I'm dining with to make reservations. But I highly recommend it.
Okay. And the last question I have is the culinary experiences with the cooking classes. Do they have those that are kid-friendly as well, or just for adults?
No, they're kid-friendly. They have demonstration and they have hands-on cooking classes. I have an 11-year-old and he's been in quite a few with me and he loves it.
Perfect, thank you. Susan?
Okay, well, I don't know why I always get the fun questions, but I have somebody wanting to know about vampires.
Oh, when I was there, I took a really great vampire tour.
Well, and Anne Rice lives there, doesn't she?
Right. And we have that tour, the paranormal tour, we do have those, and I recommend those guys to you if you're wanting to do a vampire tour. But me personally, I don't know much about vampires.
I do have a question from somebody. She wanted to know the best time of year to travel and the best place to stay as a single female.
Okay, so I can't recommend one because we're a membership-based organization. So I'm gonna give you a few of my favorite hotels. And we have so many more than that because we have about 22,000 hotel rooms in the city. But I really love, for a girls' trip, the Eliza Jane Hotel. It's a Hyatt branded hotel, and it's kind of like their luxury brand. It's not in the French Quarter. It's on Magazine. It's 2 blocks from French Quarter, but the hotel is gorgeous. Has an amazing French restaurant, beautiful courtyard. They have this just really, really lovely bar in the lobby. Every corner of that hotel was just curated perfectly, well done. And it was such a sexy hotel. I love it. Another hotel I would recommend is the Roosevelt Hotel. That hotel is also, it's about a block away from the French Quarter, but it's a beautiful, gorgeous hotel, lovely spa. And it has the Sazerac bar. I know I talked about the Sazerac Museum earlier. but they have a bar that's dedicated to the Sazerac cocktail. They make other beautiful cocktails too, but that is what it's known for. And best time to come to New Orleans, weather-wise, you know, spring and fall. But that's when the rates are a lot higher, especially on the weekends. If you can travel to New Orleans on a weekday, and our weekdays are Sunday through Friday, you'll get a really good deal. But Fridays and Saturdays, even if there's something going on, it's the rates are typically higher than normal.
Okay, that's all the questions I had. Did you have any others, Maria?
Nope, that was it when I asked.
Perfect. Well, too, I want to thank you, for taking us to New Orleans today, because we really do appreciate it. Because being locked up, we need these occasional escapes, and this is really nice to be able to get down to Nolens, even if I can't leave my house. But we do really appreciate it. Wanted to thank you for doing this for us. And next week, we are going to our nation's capital, and we are doing a virtual vacation for an early 4th of July in Washington, D.C. So everybody register for next week's session, and we will see you then.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Appreciate it.